Every week, traders blow their account because they chase candles with no plan. And I'm actually here to show you how to do this completely differently with structure, clarity, and confidence on GJ Gold and NAS for this week. This isn't one of the Netflix trading vlogs. It's real insight, real mindset, and real market prep. So if you're serious about never having to punch in the clock again, then this breakdown is actually where it starts. Let's sharpen up the skills and actually jump into the charts and let's eat. Here we are on GJ. You guys know it's G-Bay as we call it. And quite frankly, I kind of want to show you just the transition that kind of happened from last week, really kind of going into this week. So it's real simple, right? Predominantly, how we kind of started this overall is we kind of went down and then we kind of pushed back up, right? So obviously we know that the trend, we're still kind of respecting this ranging area overall. If I backtrack to the weekly overall and I just take off some of my charting, you can see that the past couple of weeks within the month that we've actually been very bullish and that we've actually reached all-time highs back of March, right? Going into the 12-hour, we can really kind of see the uptrend flourishing really good to where down here we made this previous lower high, we kind of transitioned and kind of taking structure. So I kind of want to show you right here. This is the last lower high right here. We pushed up and then we started making higher lows and higher highs and kind of just maintaining structure till we pushed off all the way to where we are. Now, these green boxes that you see right here, if I switch to the 8-hour, these were the overall profit targets for last week when I kind of did the previous Sunday breakdown, right? I kind of threw in here the overall area that I saw the market kind of projecting to, which I felt like was very important because anything you do, you want to have your projections, whether it's trending in your favor or whether it's not. So give and take where I knew where I was within trend, I feel like having these projection areas as overall TPs gave me the understanding of where I am within structure and also making sure that I see my structure kind of play all the way out and I maintain on these analyzing time frames, which are like the 12-hour to the 1 hour essentially. So kind of showing you guys where I left off within structure because it's super important. We last came from right here and retested here, so let's kind of just backtrack a little bit, right? We came from right here, we came from right here. Now a lot of 23.6 action, which is what you normally see, but if you know how to kind of cut down and kind of read in the data, you see that in between here where I have some of these little eclipse at, well, I'll delete structure in a second, but let me kind of redraw it to that way you're kind of staying focused on where I am with it. Again, whenever you do anything, structure is always going to be key, right? Your structure is going to be your main bread and butter to just how you navigate through these markets, and it's how you see everything. So if you can't even see the clearest of pictures in front of you as far as for where you are, how do you expect to understand where you're going to be? You feel me? And that's just how I've always played it. Now, at this moment in time, we're going to kind of treat it to where the market wasn't actually where it's at now, just so we can get an understanding on how we actually got there, right? So if I was supposed to just draw this area right around here and I draw it to this high from this low and I go down to like one of my analyzing time frames, like my 4-hour, my 5-hour, you're going to begin to see how structure kind of played its role. Now, this is the overall higher high zone right around here at this moment in time, right? Now, kind of just looking at structure, when we came up right here and we retraced to this area right here. You can see from here to here, these little green boxes actually took a move there, right? And then actually when we went to this new higher high, it was the same thing right around here to what we came on this 38.2 and I caught this big push up right here. So you can see a lot of the moves that I'm catching are really kind of just pinpointing where I am within structure on my analyzing time frames, and then just kind of going into the lower time frames and kind of lining up the shot. This move, however, it took some time, but you can see this same zone that I came back right here is predominantly where we came back for this retest, and I'll explain the move that I took on Friday and why. But you can see right around here, we had a very low volume week to where we ranged, but once volume kind of came in, we kind of pushed up and hitting our negative 27 and our 61.8. Now, before I kind of jump into it, the reason why the volume was kind of this low on GJ for this past week was this: we had like a lot of yen holiday, a lot of yen news and everything like that. So if you don't know, this is the pound versus the yen. So when it comes to fundamental analysis, it's predominantly going to be kind of key in understanding where you are within structure. So let's just make sure that we always make sure that we check Forex Factory, things of this nature, just to kind of have an outline on what we're going to be kind of dealing with for overall days to come in within the market. I feel like just understanding news and just understanding at least how it can affect you on a fundamental basis is super cool. Just a simple fact of when you get low volume like this, you know how to adapt and not react so much, because the market essentially trended down and I just blocked it off with this previous retest area down here. And I literally did what we call the breakout method, to where I drew it from the high where I had my 0% and I just watched price hit every kind of fib level for retracement to kind of go up. These yellow lines, you know, I don't really like them too much plastered on my screen, but they kind of just are able to kind of dictate and kind of show me where it is that I took my opportunities based on on where I thought I was within the trend. And you can see just based on the moves, I got 60 pips, 20 pips here. I got like 20 pips here before I got stopped. I got 50 pips here and then over 100 and something here until the market kept on going. I attempted to take the sells here like on a Thursday and I got like stopped out a couple times, and then I ended up catching it a bit down, and then finally for the buys here. So let's actually talk about, because we actually hit our projection areas. Boom, price kind of came back down here. We settled once we kind of opened up on Wednesday. Boom, we compare, and then Thursday obviously the sells, right, where we actually hit our negative targets, which is pretty good, right? So now we're gonna kind of line up the new market structure move for this week. We're gonna put out our market structure swing low, and we're gonna kind of strive to understand where we are within price action. Give and take, this is a 3-hour. This is one of our analyzing time frames, so this is the last market structure higher low that we were at. You could see from here we have a beautiful trending structure that we can actually draw. Potentially, if we fail this area, we may get a potential retest. There is a newly found trend line that we could probably adapt to right here, but we're gonna kind of wait to kind of do that, just because we kind of want to make sure that we get this strong push off. You can see these yellow lines up here. These are like predominantly areas that I was striving to take the sell at. We ended up pushing a little bit higher before we actually ended up dropping, which, you know, can't really avoid these things, but yeah, ended up catching the sells down, and then boom. So like we landed into the golden zone doing this market structure retail. So let's go down to the 1 hour so we can actually talk about this week's move. So now kind of continuing where we left off with the market structure, we could see, right, that obviously we came down here, we shot up, we did our thing, we kind of rejected, we came back down, got this higher low. Now we're going to retest. You see this retest is predominantly from this 2 hour right around here to where buyers kind of came in and took over right around here. So if you guys don't know, no retest, no entry. Buyers came in, they broke above here doing this variation pattern followed by a retest. So now what we can include is that if this rejection that we're getting, our exhaustion from the sellers is good, and we go down low enough, we should begin to see some type of buyers rejection to where we're pushing up to the upside based off of this lower time frame structure. So this is one of the moves I caught on Friday. I kind of held it over the weekend just because we did like this golden zone retest, and I can kind of see incrementally where we are within structure. So just falling back to the 1 hour, our new projections for this week are going to just be right up here. So we're going to kind of just push this and right up here. We're going to kind of target these take profit areas of 194 and 196. So it'll be good to kind of see the market kind of trend and drive up here to this week. So what I'm expecting predominantly, right, just because we're on G, baby, we want to kind of make sure that this 500 QP is respected as the area of support before we kind of just continue moving upwards in a trend. I just feel like once this QP is respected, we should be good to go as far as we're just continuing the trend overall to the upside. Oops, deleted the fibs. We need those. Boom, right? So once this is respected, we can begin to kind of push back up and kind of hit up here to this overall zone, right? This can be like a wonderful take profit area, which we could begin to make in green. And the reason why we're just kind of highlighting this area first is just for the given fact that, hey, we know where we are within trend. We know we're at a 38.2 for a retest, and we know we're good. Outside of this area, right, we have our 250 QP. That's right around here where we did the retest, so we should be good. So essentially what I'm looking for price action to do is either come back down here and settle or push off from here. So something along the lines of this, right? To where we either start up from here, do our thing, kind of push up, kind of push up, kind of push up, or we kind of start, you know, basically here, we kind of do our thing, and do our thing, and then do our thing. But regardless, we're waiting for price action to kind of show us where we're settling at based on this retest area, and then boom, we're going to ride the move up to these negative take profit levels as long as we're willing to continue the trend. That's kind of it for GJ. NAS, the last move that NAS kind of did, and just kind of getting our backtracked, right? NAS is a index really and truly, so NAS moves kind of comes in pieces. You can see that the all-time highs are quite up here, so we're kind of close to that. So really kind of jumping into the analyzing portion of it, because let me cook NAS for a second, right? Just let me cook. The last move that we did was basically right around here, and allow me to just kind of clear up these so you guys can kind of see the vision and understand, right? Price kind of came back from these low areas down here where you see me kind of deleting a lot of these white lines from that we have as QPs, right? Price strived and came back down here. Now, what happened in this overall move was we made these highs, we came back, got this golden zone retest, and then we kind of shot off. Market structure on NAS isn't really too difficult. once you kind of get used to it. But this is a pair that you definitely got to get used to trading, and definitely just use risk management, because a little bit goes a long way. I caught some stellar sells on some stellar buys, and I got maybe like stopped out a little bit. Like I got stopped out just because like I wasn't adding the same patience into my process. But with NAS and just my experience of trading it, if you wait and if you clearly just understand the structure that she gives you clean and easy setups, just like this one. This is scenario where price kind of came back down, got this golden zone retest, and then we kind of pushed up, broke above, right? And we know literally from here, if we delete this fib and we add it from here, which was the new higher low, right? We come back around here, tested, and boom, boom, boom. So now within here, because this is the start point and we're on the 4-hour time frame, there's going to be so much more structure that we could look into in here. So if we go from the 1 hour and we view it from this perspective, right, obviously we see the transition of trend to where we went from a downtrend to an uptrend, and it's all these little moves in between that we're beginning to be able to critique at the 23s and at these areas where, you know, we're doing these pullback areas, right? Well, it wasn't until we got right here and we kind of did this steep retracement, kind of getting this retest over here from left to right, where structure began to really kind of, you know, like really kind of come through and kind of make me understand where we are within structure a bit more. Outside of that, these pushes that we got were like a lot of this 23 and this market structure retests and us having a clarity on where you are within structure. So once price action kind of did that, and I then began to know where I was, it was as simple as just kind of, you know, drawing your structure and kind of just understanding where you are, right? Because right around here at this point in time, I thought we were going to get a structure retest back to this 38.2, and then you got to look from the left hand side. So if you backtrack to the 4 hour a little bit, right, you could see the overall move where buyers kind of took over right around here. And once buyers kind of did this engulfing and we settled and made this new high, I was expecting for a retest somewhere within this range right around here. But you could see that price action, we came back down. And if you just look up here at these peaks, right, and this is why you always want to just draw structure with your process, because if you do, you'll be able to kind of just see the trends like super duper clearly, right? Price came right here, right? We rejected, we came back down. Price came here, and then we kind of pushed up, and then we kind of pushed up here to make these new highs. Right around here, if we go down a little bit lower, you could see where we had nothing but wicks, which signifies a sign of exhaustion or rejection, which means that this, and if I guarantee if I drag something around here, we had a 750 QP right around here to where price action just came and kind of made this area of support. So once you're kind of trading and you're kind of understanding where you are with as 100, the key is to always just break out your fibs and your structures and kind of just make sure you understand where you are within the alignment of your structure and support and resistance areas, and just, you know, paying attention to candlestick patterns as well as for rejection and exhaustion, right? Give and take, we know where we are overall, right? We still have this area for its own for a retest, and then we still kind of see where we are within kind of solidifying on this QP. We still ended up kind of pushing up from here, kind of with that retest, and then kind of boom. So the next area that I could see is we would kind of come back down here or come back down here based on these previous structures over here to the left. So what I'm anticipating is price action. Before price action continues, she has to give us the bullish signs that she's actually ready, right? So we have this 250 QP here that acted as a form of resistance. We also we have this major right here for this area of retest, and then right here we have the 200. So really and truly, I just want to kind of watch around these areas and see as NAS kind of comes back down for a retrace if she's good and what she's going to do next. I know if she kind of be able to engulf this candle with some strong buyer's momentum and kind of getting my confluence across multiple of these lower time frames, I know I'd be good. This little indicator right here always shows me what the 4 hour candle is doing, so that way I'm able to kind of understand where I am within structure. 9 times out of 10, every time NAS kind of engulfs a candle, we're normally ready for bullish momentum. So just kind of watch up here. I could see selling volume kind of coming in right here, which you'll see me kind of start drawing this in a different color in a second, just because I see volume kind of, you know, striving to push down to the downside a little bit. So I just want to kind of pay attention to this. I'll make it in red. Oh, how bad. Make it in red. That way you can kind of see it a little bit. So we could see right here, if I was supposed to drag this to the side, this is kind of formulating that, hey, we had a high, we had a low, we had a low, we had a low. We haven't still lower than this low quite yet, but essentially what we're looking for in this overall area is we're looking for this resistance area to kind of play out just like how it needs to. So kind of having that right there and kind of just being able to see it kind of makes me understand where price action should be going next. Obviously we got to break a certain high point to show that volumes in the market market so that we're able to kind of transition back up to the upside. But until then, we'll kind of understand away from a retest, or we'll catch the breakout and flow structure up to the next trend. Last but not least, Goldie. Man, Goldie, man. Goldie kind of did it. So you can see my fibs on here. I'm still kind of playing off of his higher time frame bias, and I'm probably going to get ready to buy gold again because gold looked like she's just setting up for one of those moves. Gold kind of finally did the dropping bias that we wanted, right? Gold kind of made the all-time highs up here, right? And now gold is around here to where we're doing this, right? And I'll make it in white in a second just so you guys can see. Boom. So this is what gold is doing as of this moment in time. Gold's doing a lot of this where she made this higher high, and now we're kind of coming back down here for a retest where we can bounce off any one of these areas. We begin to see a bit of seller's exhaustion right here, which is pretty good, letting us know that sellers are tired and that buyers are stepping into the market. If we look previous slightly right here, not only do we have a fib level, but we have a potential area for a zone for a potential retest area right around here. So we kind of want to keep this area highlighted as well, just in case we break out the zone to the downside. We can be patient and wait for his downside trend. But based on how I see it as of price action and as of everything as of right now, price kind of made these highs, and you can see as we're going down lower, the structure and everything's a little bit more detailed. So what I like to do is I like to just realign my data just to structure and just to everything, just so I can have a firm understanding on where I am. You can see that the lower highs and lower lows are still being maintained, especially with these areas of supply and demand in the picture and kind of showing us these areas of retest. As we go down lower, I'm trying to kind of make sure I critique the data to kind of fit the time frame that we're looking at. You can see that lower lows and lower highs are still being maintained. You can see up here at these peaks, right? We have these resistance areas that the price is basically trapped in between. We can't really break nothing in between it. We're kind of just ranging in between price here. You could see just based off the previous areas that these highs and these lows were kind of ranging, and then we kind of came back down and went for a retest. So as of right now, gold isn't ready. But if we go down to the 4 hour, you could see that we are getting a lot of rejection right here. So we may be potentially setting up for a transition. It all depends that if we could hold the 225 as an area of support, or if we're going to go back down here for this retest near the 61.8. So just this little area matters right now. We kind of want to watch all the details, but as I go down lower, you can see that the rejections are getting stronger and sellers are more so exhausted, and we're seeing more purple over red, which means that buyers are kind of stepping into the market. So give and take, we know the structure, we understand where we are. We still kind of want to move with caution at this area because we may be at a potential transition area to go from this downside to the upside. You can see with gold, right, it's a bit sporadic with the movements, especially when price is ranging. So just kind of keep your take profits kind of set for this week and kind of ensure and make sure that you know where you are within structure always, because right around here I'm saying that this was the all-time lows down here, and then you could see right around here where this QP is that not only did buyers kind of take over right here, but buyers took over and we're getting our potential retest right here too, which makes price action all the more greater. So because we're getting that retest and we kind of realize that if I go down lower, you'll be able to see the trend from where we transitioned right here. And for me, this is just the biggest part. You see me kind of doing a lot of drawing right here because again, I feel like optimally we're setting up for a trend transition. I could be potentially wrong, but just based on structure, you know, men lie, woman lie structure doesn't. We came right here and rejected, and then boom. You can see right here that we have a signal candlestick pattern right here. This is what we call a tested candle, and tested candles at an area of support. As I was saying before I got rudely interrupted, right around down here, because we understand that this area is an area of market structure, lower highs, right? We kind of broke this area right around here and kind of transitioned up to the upside. So what I see just based on this projection is a structure within structure, right? So this is kind of what I see to where we kind of came back up here and now we're making this higher low over here, right? And then we actually got the retest that we got on the left on the right hand side. So it looks like structure may be ready to take off this based on these candlestick patterns, and we can instantly ride the move for these lower take profits, but then on a bigger parameters kind of ride the move all the way back up here as we're building structure to target these areas all the way up here. So just kind of, again, just having your target and your projection areas are always going to kind of be key, because gold can even make some newer all-time highs just based on how it's trending. So we'll have that for now. But again, just kind of knowing where you are is going to kind of be key. Backtracking on NAS just for a second, same thing with NAS. We can kind of push up here and make these all-time highs up here as well. So we just got to kind of be key and just kind of understand where we are. But that's my bias for gold, GJ, and NAS. Hope you guys enjoyed. The same zones, the same setups that you're watching in this week, they already been laid out for you. So all you got to do is just hit the link in the description, download the strategy jock, and commit to prepping like a professional trader, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. This is how you flip your entire trajectory when it comes to trading. And another week week. Another win loaded in the chamber. It's your boy GG Banks. Deuces, and I'll see you guys next week.